Trixie's New Big Red Life by Captain Brony. After the Ursa Minor incident, Trixie's life has been going downhill, and just as she thinks she's hit rock bottom, she meets a rather large red earth pony who offers her a place to stay. Rated Fiction T. Blah blah, etc. etc.
Come to read.
Trixie, formerly known as the Great and Powerful Trixie, was caught in a downpour. She only had a small tree on top of a hill for cover, and even then, it wasn't much. Life had gotten much harder for Trixie after the Ursa Minor incident. Word had spread fast of failure to live up to her boasting. She had been branded as an official fraud far and wide. It had gotten so bad that not only would nobody watch her shows, or even let her stay in the hotels. Her cart had been smashed and she had to stay somewhere. And she, the great and powerful Trixie, had been forced to find a dreary and dull day job of all things. But even that had turned out to be a dead end. Nobody would hire, thinking that someone who was known for her talk and not her walk could be hideously bad for business. Everywhere she went, it was the same thing. It was like she was blacklisted. She even had to sell her hat, cape, just to feed her belly, and now she was caught in the rain with only a tree, with very few branches for cover. It was almost as if she was under a curse or something, like she had angered some deity enough to receive divine punishment. Short version, she had hit rock bottom. A tear trickled down her cheek, and suddenly the rain seemed to stop. She looked up to see a very large lager.
I guess that means large.
Okay. Red stun with an impressively large umbrella tied to what looked like a work harness around his neck.
No, why would any pony want to stay out in the rain like this?
He asked her. Trixie did her best to hide the sorrow in her voice.
I don't have any place else to go. Sorry,
what
my
you
own
talking
voice.
about? Don't you got a home?
Her cart was her home, and that had been smashed to smithereens. She
Thanks, Doc.
shook her head. I'm sorry. She shook her head.
No.
That's because
No.
she shook her head no.
Well, it was in quotation, so.
Ain't you got any place in town you could stay?
He asked.
Every pony turns me away.
She said quietly. Wait, did somebody drop the call?
No.
Sorry, I heard a call
Stop
hang up
obsess.
sound.
No.
Okay, anyways. The stallion remained silent for a moment before finally speaking.
Y'all could stay with me.
She snapped her head in his direction, wide-eyed with a surprise.
Are you serious?
Yup. Mind you, I live on a farm. Ain't much, but it's home.
Trixie debated herself for a moment, but what choice did she really have? She stood up and followed the stallion down the hill. It was kind enough to make sure the umbrella stayed over her, which was actually rather impressive when you think about it, seeing how he couldn't do any magic at all.
Y'all got a name?
He asked her.
Yes.
She dried a tear from her eye.
It's Trixie.
Well, I reckon it's nice to meet you, Trixie. I'm Big Macintosh.
She gave him a small smile. It was a long time since somebody showed her kindness. They remained silent for the rest of the way, heading towards some place called Sweet Apple Acres. It was an apple orchard, apparently, which made sense when she looked at Big Macintosh's cutie mark. They entered a small farmhouse where, after he put away his umbrella and work harness, he gave her a large towel and showed her to a guest room. As she started to dry herself off the bed, Big Macintosh took his opportunity to speak up.
We'll let you stay as long as you want, but I'm afraid you'll have to earn your keep around here. But don't worry, pick something out for you that's real simple.
She gave him another smile before he bid her goodnight. I'm guessing he meant he, not she. Trixie smiled in bliss as the sun shined in on her muzzle as she nuzzled herself deeper into the soft warm bed.
Miss Trixie, it's time to wake up. Oh wait, no, I didn't let you speak. I'm sorry.
Collie
bad.
voice.
That's fine.
She sat up in bed, her silvery blue mane a complete mess. She squinted her eyes at her awakener. It was the same red stallion that allowed her to stay. Sadly, the events of last night all came flooding back to her. She blushed slightly, but got out of bed. She stretched and groggily walked out of the room.
I guess that's Applejack.
Yeah. I thought,
Oh, hold still. Let me check the thing.
what in land's sakes is she doing here?
Shouted a familiar voice. Trixie winced at the volume this pony spoke, but when she saw who it was, she couldn't help but smirk cockily.
Wow, wow, wow. I wasn't aware you lived here, little hayseed.
Applejack fumed and was about to come over to her to tell her off when Big Macintosh cut her off her path.
Everyone, this is Miss Trixie. She's gonna be staying here for a while. Miss Trixie, this is my kin, the Apple family. I take it you already met my
Angrily at her. Big Macintosh pointed his head over to an elderly mare sitting in a rocking chair asleep.
Over there is our Granny Smith.
She continued to snore contentedly.
And then there's our youngest, little Apple Bloom. Hey, where'd she go?
Big Macintosh looked around but couldn't find the last family member to introduce.
That's Apple Bloom next.
Wow! A wand, cutie mark! What's that mean?
Came a little voice. Trixie looked behind her to see a little yellow filly with big red bow in her hair admiring a kitty mark. She had on her a double pouch satchel that most ponies use to carry their things in.
It means that I, the great and powerful Trixie, have the talent of being more magical than any other unicorn in all of Equestria.
Applebloom's eyes widened in wonderment.
Wow! Wait, what about Princess Celestia? She's a Pegasus unicorn. Doesn't count.
Stated Trixie.
Oh.
Said Applebloom.
Supper Twilight.
Smirked Applejack.
You know, the unicorn who calmed the Ursa Minor that y'all couldn't?
Trixie glared at her, but it was her turn to be cut off by Big Macintosh.
AJ, you behave yourself around our new guest.
Applejack's mouth hung open at her older brother's slight scolding.
The great and powerful Trixie
Trixie was cut off by her stomach, let out a growl.
demands to know when breakfast will be served.
Scuffed Applejack.
After you work.
Trixie rolled her eyes.
Very funny little hayseed.
However, Trixie jumped slightly as Big Macintosh placed a satchel identical to Applebloom's on her back.
Tain't a joke. You wanna eat? You gotta work.
But breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Protested Trixie, sorry.
All the more reason for you to work up an appetite as you pick berries with Apple Bloom.
Explained Big Macintosh.
But I'm the great and powerful Trixie.
She all but whined. Applebloom rolled her eyes and started to head out the door.
Well, right now, you're Trixie the hungry farm worker.
Oh, sorry, I lost my spot. Where am I?
Big Macintosh.
Big Macintosh gave her an odd smile.
Who knows? You might learn a thing or two down here on the farm. Might even better yourself.
Trixie narrowed her eyes at him. She knew just how to handle this situation.
If you can name one thing that you, a simple earth pony, are better at than me, the great and powerful Trixie, then I'll do your chores without the aid of breakfast.
I'm more humble than you.
Big Macintosh said bluntly. Trixie's mouth did an odd series of openings and closings as she tried to find something to say.
That sounded
Yeah.
not exactly.
Anyway, Big Macintosh rolled his eyes as he started to push Trixie gently through the door. Gently.
Ham and haw all you want, but do it while you're working.
To all the sticklers and hair splinters, they're out.
That's
Sorry.
not. That's,
Well, I'm looking at quotation marks, so sorry. Was
Let's see. Yeah, that's...
sorry, it just wasn't a quotation mark, so...
Yeah. Author's note.
Okay. Well, next page then. I wish my page would stop refreshing. It's annoying. Also, I gotta get some drink.
That's why I have a water bottle right next to me.
Oh, so do I. Although it's a Shasta Cola bottle.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go get a drink while you're carrying on with this because I haven't got a line for a while.
Okay. Let me check the stream real quick. See if I have any comments. Oh, let's start. Okay. Anyway, okay.
Who's Trey Bolton?
Trixie quietly grumbled to herself as she followed the small little filly into a circle of bushes. She couldn't believe that big red oaf had managed to get one up on her. He certainly didn't look like the intellectual type. Then again, she wouldn't have taken him for a colt to take in another pony out of kindness of his heart either.
Oh, wow!
Appleblom's small shout snapped Trixie out of her thoughts.
Berries are really ripe today.
The youngest of the apple family had positioned herself at the far end of the bushes, so Trixie put herself at the opposite side. The job seemed simple enough, just put the berries into her satchel patches. Her hand glowed in its usual color as the berries on her side started to float up into the air into her pouches. At this rate, she would be done in under 5 minutes, and she'd be enjoying a hearty breakfast.
Spike!
Cried the young filly. Trixie craned her neck around to see a small purple dragon walking towards them. He seemed vaguely familiar, but she couldn't quite place where she had seen him. It was when he saw her and gave her an unimpressed kind of look that it all came flooding back to her. He was with those naysayers during the night of her show, cheering them on.
Him? What's he doing here?
Sneered Trixie. Spike crossed his arms, looking sternly at her.
I can't do a Spike voice, just saying.
I know. Hey, where's where's our other guy? We have like another guy here.
He was.
How are you?
Oh well.
Yeah.
I could say the same thing about you.
Behold,
Actually, not bad.
behold, Doc, doing most of the voices.
Yeah,
Funnily
right.
enough, your version of it was lower than the...
Anyway.
Let's see. Spike here has a real eye for finding gems in our catch. Twilight told me that this one time when she was helping my big sister Applejack carry apples, he found a real scrumdiddlyumptious one. So I asked him to come by and do the same with our berries so we can enjoy them for breakfast. Now, Now you explain to me why a liar like Trixie is doing here in Sweet Apple Acres. Big Macintosh took her in, so she'll be staying with us for a little while.
Spike only responded by raising his eyebrows slightly. I did not know he had eyebrows.
Well, I guess I should get started.
He said, giving Trixie one last look.
Enjoy me talking to myself for half the story.
Pretty much. It was as Spike was digging into Apple Bloom's pouch that Trixie finished her side. She started walking back towards the house to sound Spike sorting the berries in the background.
Where did I lost? Somebody talked to me. Oh,
where are you go?
Where are you going?
She stopped at the sound of Apple Bloom's voice.
Trixie got all her berries. Trixie got all of her berries. So I, the great and powerful Trixie, am done.
Apple Bloom frowned.
You didn't pick all of them, did you? Of course I did. Trixie wants her cussin' breakfast.
Cussing breakfast.
Oh my god, this is just wow.
Line.
I'm on my cousin breakfast.
I want my cussing breakfast.
Apple Bloom shook her head.
That's not good. Some of those berries are all shriveled up and dead.
Trixie's eyes widened. She hadn't been aware of that.
I know. Spike can help. Excuse me?
Queried Trixie. Spike walked over to them with his arms folded.
Yeah, I'd like to repeat that. Excuse me? Trixie can make all the berries float out of her bag, then Spike can point out all the bad ones. And why should the great and powerful Trixie agree to something like that?
Spike narrowed his eyes at her.
Twilight would do it.
Oh!
Boom. And exactly who is Twilight?
Spike smirked a little.
You know, Twilight Sparkle, also known as the purple unicorn that managed to settle the Ursa Minor that you failed to do.
Oh!
Spurn! It was Trixie's turn to narrow her eyes.
Oh. Her.
Although she had never bothered to learn the pony's name, Trixie would never forget her.
What's so special about her anyway?
Spike's smirk got a little bigger. Remember, this is pre-Alicorn Twilight.
You mean besides the Yes, beside the Ursa Minor incident?
Snapped Trixie.
Oh.
Apple Bloom took a small step back away from Trixie, but Spike's smirk just got bigger.
Well, the fact that she's Celestia's protege doesn't hurt.
Trixie...
Oh!
Thank
Trixie
you for
froze.
walking away from the mic for doing that.
Trixie froze as this new information sunk in to her brain.
Celestia? As in Princess Celestia?
Spike nodded with an aura of smugness about him.
That's right, Princess Celestia of Equestria. And the fact that Twilight is always reading through books for new magical abilities doesn't hurt either.
Trixie slapped her forehead with her hoof, which actually kind of hurt. Not that she would ever admit that to anyone. But but it was no wonder Twilight had done the things that she did. How the hay was Trixie supposed to compete with the student of the ruler of the country? She didn't know that she got that power through books. Made sense when she thought about it, though. Knowledge was power, after all. And she made a mental note to go into the library at some point so she could do some research. I love how it's in quotation marks. All the berries in Trixie's satchel pouch suddenly flew open, and all the berries came floating out. I'm gonna say they hung in the air magically for all to see.
Well, get to work, dragon. The great and powerful Trixie has done just as she has been asked. Now, what are you, now we're all waiting on you.
She sneered.
Wasn't so great and powerful the last time I checked.
Spike grumbled quietly to himself. Yeah, so Spike walked through the floating berries, batting to the ground any rotten dead that he came across.
Okay, I'm done.
Announced Spike. The berries Spike hadn't knocked down floated back into Trixie's satchel pouches.
Well, my bags are full too. Let's head back to the house.
Cheered Apple Bloom.
Just a sec. Just a second.
Called. Trixie called. Apple Bloom and Spike turned around, looking at her quizzically. Trixie made her horn glow and pointed it down to the berries that Spike had knocked down. In the light blue flash, the berries were transformed into full flesh and fresh berries. Apple Bloom's face lit up in amazement.
Wow! That's amazing, Trixie!
Trixie smiled proudly.
Oh yes, I know. That is the great power of the great and powerful Trixie. So tell me, little dragon, can your amazing Twilight do that?
Spike was stunned, looking puzzled.
I don't know. Never really asked if she could do stuff like that. Well, I think it's spectacular.
Apple Bloom said as she looked up at Trixie with sparkles in her eyes. She had apparently gained a brand new hero that day.
But of course it is. Shall we return so Trixie can finally have her breakfast? Sure thing. Want to come have breakfast with us, Spike?
Spike scratched the back of his head, still thinking about Trixie's berries.
No thanks. I should get back to Twilight. I need to check something with her.
Apple Bloom shrugged.
Suit yourself.
Apple Bloom turned back to Trixie, only to see a banquet of flowers waiting for her.
Consider them a gift from Trixie for showing exquisite taste in unicorns.
Trixie smiled as Apple Bloom started to hug the bouquet.
I'm gonna go plant these right now.
She beamed. Trixie raised her eyebrow at the idea of a filly planting flowers she had just magically conjured up, but she shrugged it and started to walk back towards the house, being sure to bring the berries she had fixed magically. Magically delicious. It was a short trot back to the house, and somehow Apple Bloom still had managed to beat her to the kitchen. The kitchen table was covered with various breakfast items like fruit, pancakes, and hay, and in the center of all was a large empty bowl waiting to be filled. Big Macintosh was already seated, smiling at Trixie expectantly. He looked down at the empty bowl, then at her, seeing if she could get the silent message that he was sending her. It took Trixie a moment, but she got the message soon enough, and levitated all of her berries out of her pouch and filled them neatly in the bowl. Big Macintosh nodded approvingly at the rest of as the rest of the Apple family came to the table. Granny Smith took notice of Trixie after staring in her direction for a moment. Great. It looks like Doc's gonna do another voice.
You guys want something?
Bum ba bum da bum.
I am no good at old people voices.
Yeah, I'll do a really bad Granny Smith voice, okay? God, this is gonna be bad. Who's this? I don't know. Yeah, who's... Damn, I can't... Who's this?
Who's this?
Okay, that'll do. She asked in a kind voice.
This here
Applejack said with some distaste.
is a hoity-toity unicorn who...
This is one of the Twiggy shows back up. You heard nothing.
Nice.
We heard all.
We are.
Oh, my microphone was muted. Right, there you go. Okay.
Oh.
I was wondering why you didn't carry on. Applejack, you show some manners at the table, young lady.
Scolded Big Macintosh. Applejack flinched noticeably, but put on a fake grin and said through gritted teeth,
This here is Trixie the unicorn. She'll be staying with us for a little while.
Granny Smith nodded as she absorbed this information and then gave Trixie a warm smile.
Well, she looks very sweet. My old people voice is
No,
horrible.
Oh, don't worry.
Amazing how looks can be deceiving.
Grumbled Applejack under her breath.
Try the berries. Me and Trixie got some real juicy ones.
Shrugging, Applejack grabbed a full hoof and plopped them into her mouth. But she started to chew more and more. Slowly, she noticed something with a final gulp. She glared at Trixie.
What'd you do to our berries?
She snapped. Apple Bloom took a deep breath in surprise. She had tried some of the berries Trixie had fixed. While they were tasty, they all still tasted only like berries.
Huh? Big sis, how'd you know that? I knows magic when I taste it. What'd you do?
Instead of cowering under Applejack's interrogating gaze like Apple Bloom often did, Trixie sat up straight and smiled rather smugly.
It was really a trifle for a unicorn of my magical abilities. I simply turned the dead shriveled berries into fresh ripe ones. One problem with that. Look what happens when your magic wears off.
Fair point. Some of the berries in the bowl glowed. Trixie's color reverted back to dead berries.
Well,
Trixie desperately tried to find some way to still make herself look good.
well, picking berries is still too trivial of a task for the great and powerful Trixie. My talents are being wasted on such menial work.
Applejack grinned mischievously as she stood up.
Oh, you want some real work, huh? Well, I think I can help y'all with that. Come on, get your boasting self down to the barn, so...
Applejack was cut off by the sound Big Macintosh clearing his throat.
Now, Applejack, I respect the fact that you're head of the farm, and you've done a better job with it than I ever could. Right proud of you too, but I'm still head of this family, and I say she don't do no more work until she finishes her breakfast. Most important day of the meal. Most important meal of the day, you know?
Trixie smiled appreciatively. Applejack was stunned and hung her mouth open.
Y'all can't be serious, are ya?
Yep.
Applejack pulled her head over her head in frustration.